Okay, you got to see the documentary.
Uh-huh.
What stood out to you?
Um, I thought it was. I personally thought it was. It was done good.
Well, explain how they came up with the idea that they're going to do a documentary called Untold Shooting Guards and the double meaning.
Well, that's a great title. I'm not even gonna lie. Just for everything that went on. But at first I wanted to tell this story, to get the real story out there. But I never wanted to tell it without Javaris' side.
Okay,
Um,
explain this to our audience just so they know what you're talking about.
so me and Javaris, which was my, rook at the time or second year player, but he was, one of my guys on the team. We was playing a card game, and I didn't like the way he was conversating after losing. He was losing, so um, I didn't like the tone that he was saying to the other players. So as a veteran, as the guy that he looks up to, I checked him. And when you're losing money, I'm checking you in front of players that got into a little altercation, and we challenged each other. So the challenge was, you're going to shoot me. Well, I want to see you do it. I was calling this bluff, and it wasn't as drama filled as the media made it seem. Right? It calmed down very quickly. Um, but
You guys got guns at the card game?
no.
Oh, okay.
This was at in the locker room. The car
Okay.
game on a plane from Arizona to Washington.
Okay.
That long flight, and they play cards on the game. So
How much money are we talking about here?
the pot at the time when I joined was probably $1,100,
Oh.
but I think he was down about $6,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you guys land, how are you guys when you get off the plane, and then when do you know that maybe this is escalating?
I'm an antagonizer. So, my personality, as you can see, I'm an antagonizer. I'm gonna point, I'm gonna poke at you. So, him losing, I'm poking at the end of the plane, just poking his buttons. But we did have a day off. So I think we landed Saturday. We did have Sunday off. And this happened Monday, where I'm still, I want to see if you're still gonna be about your word. So I had the guns on his chair, and I wrote a note, pick one, to see, hey, pick one of these nice guns to shoot me with. But I knew he couldn't shoot me because uh, there was no bullets for the gun, right? And then you have to go to Maryland to actually buy bullets, and the chances of them having a Desert Eagle 50 cal bullet or whatever he picked wasn't going to be there. So I wasn't really scared for my life. It was more, I'm going to call your bluff. Let's see what you're going to do. It was one of those type of ordeals, egotistic stuff that locker rooms go through.
I don't know. I don't know.
On another level, on another level.
I don't know if this happened with other teams where guys are bringing in guns there, but
No. The other teams, they just get in fist fights. Yeah. Just so it was very immature especially my part. Being the older player on a team. Very immature. But um, I did it. I really tried to correct my wrong as soon as it happened by really taking the blame for it and trying to see if the media just focus on me and get away from him.
when did you know that it was going to be a bigger story than just a locker room prank?
When Peter Vesey got a hold of it and he wrote the article, OK Corral inside the Wizard locker room, I was like, oh shit. Right. Right. So it was because before that, it happened on like the 21st. So for the most part, the Washington, Wilbon and Kornheiser, they wasn't touching the story, even though they heard rumbles of it, right? It was like, okay, it's contained. Okay, let's just go on about our business. Let's not try that again. And once he leaked the story, it was all hell broke loose after that.
He's Gilbert Arenas, host of Gil's Arena podcast, three-time NBA All-Star with the Wizards, and the documentary Untold doc. It's Untold shooting guards.
I don't know why I like the title so much. Like, it stands out. You know, when you're talking about putting a doc and you want the views, that's a great title.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.